Hey ladies, this is Steve once again with the Father's Devotions, and you will recall that I released the 800 just a few days back. And so the brigadier generals on up, the rear admirals on up, have now convened at Quantico, and they have met with the President and the Secretary of Defense. And all I can tell you is do not be deceived. The media, of course, was allowed in to hear the President's speech, or what they were allowed to hear of it, and then they were allowed in to hear the Secretary of War's speech. And those two speeches together comprise, about an hour and a half of the meeting. And do not think that that is or was the entire meeting. The other 99% of it was closed off, obviously, to the media, and you do not hear anything else. And so I'm still going to say that we're headed for war in this country, and not a side war like we had, in the Korean War in the early 50s, or the Vietnam War in the 60s, early 70s, or the Gulf War, remember that one, in the 1990s, or even the stuff you see with Ukraine or Iran, with the B-2 bombing of some of their nuclear facilities a few months back. Okay, that's not really what I'm talking about here. I'm talking a war like what would be known as World War II, that kind of a war. And it's likely going to be fought with China. I think our military is well aware of the true threat that China presents to the continued, you got to listen to me, sovereignty of the United States. That's likely the war that was discussed at this meeting. And Trump and Secretary of War Hegseth are trying to get all the generals on the same page and all the generals informed. Again, this is an unthinkable meeting that was scheduled. 800, I believe, is the total number of all the brigadier generals and rear admirals on up. So the room was filled just with generals, people of the general class. And these aren't ordinary individuals. To be a general means that you have to be ratified, or your rank increase has to be ratified by the Senate. Every other rank, all the way up to full bird colonel, is internal. But generals are outside the military apparatus, and that their advancement is ratified by the Senate. These aren't ordinary men and women at this rank in a general sense. So this is unprecedented, what has just gone down here. And I just challenge both of you to be strong and courageous, like in the book of Joshua. And I think that phrase was repeated, 5 or 6 times throughout the first few chapters of the book of Joshua, because there were things that the Israelites were going to go through and we're going to have to do, and we're going to have to be exposed to, that would rock their world, and they were going to have to stay anchored to Christ. And I think that those are the times that are coming, regardless of what you hear from the media and even the president. I think those are the times that are coming to the United States. Our debt is catching up with us. Have you seen gold? It's skyrocketing practically every day now because of our debt, our deficits, our monopoly money printing to buy it all, and what's going on externally to the United States. You got to understand that the President, Secretary of Defense, via the CIA and other intelligence apparatuses, they have information that we can never be privy to. So just get set, ladies. Not that you really can, right? Just know Christ and preach the gospel and hold on, because we're going to go for a ride and it might not turn out very well. God bless you both.